I'm zombie but awake 밤비가 내려wake Can't wait no time is a game so I just put it all my way I'm zombie but awake 밤비가 내려wake.
What's good, my crazies? Yes, y'all, welcome back to the lab. Lee here in the seat, man. Y'all saw that title too as well. We're going to be talking about a trip report as well as we smoke some too as well. Before we get that going there, man, I got to throw a shout out to each and every one of you, man. Each one of you viewers, each one of you subscribers, each one of you thumbs uppers, hey, and even the down uppers, man. Big shout out to y'all, man. We're at 411, 412. Y'all all are amazing. Let's keep it going. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep hitting those buttons, man, because that helps the channel. And that's going to help me live a dream too as well, because, you know, in case y'all didn't know, I've been doing YouTube for a while, and getting these channels shut down puts a little damper on it, but this is what I want to do, man, for a hot minute. Be able to go places, tell people stuff, teach people different things, as well as my trip reports, man. I am in case y'all didn't know, you do know, I've been in psychedelics for 8 years. I know you've heard this already. And I like to teach what I know and how I do it. I teach it differently. I use our technology for our advantage. I'm a big movie person, so I love movies. I love watching movies. I believe that's just a great way to kind of lose your own ego within yourself and kind of take on another character. That's kind of where my trip report leads into too as well. I said over the weekend I did take a couple hits of acid, about 300 UGs. If you don't know how much it is, that's a lot. Usually the main dose is about 175 to about 2. So you figure you do your math. But I'm sitting here, and I start off pretty easy with always some easy movie just to get my blood going, get my mind rolling, and so. I pop in Player One. I love Player One, Ready Player One. I think that's just an awesome movie to kind of understand and jump into understanding kind of what we really are living into and actually what we're heading to. If that makes any sense, because if you just don't know, virtual reality has been on the airwaves and actually put in my mind since, Lawnmower Man. And Lawnmower Man was one of those where you're playing virtual reality thinking you're flying in, and he got put into the system. And this is kind of what Ready Player One is, just an upper version of it, or kind of like The Matrix. I know you can think of many movies that think of it, but that's kind of where this world is going to. And so I clicked in. I did that on my peak, right? I kind of coming up on my peak, and it put me in that mind frame of me being a receiver of a message. I'm trying to, I'm getting a message. I was receiving a message, and it varies in different ways. You always are going to learn something out of a trip, no matter what kind of trip you have. And somebody was learning my message, so it was basically telling me to pay attention. I mean, even my horoscope, those 2 days I was doing it, even my horoscope was telling me, you're in a learning session, take this and start learning about more, because you're about to get a lot of information that you're going to receive. And so with that, I took that with my mind. So I pop in Fate and the Furious, Fast and the Furious 8 or 9, whatever number you want to call it. I believe it's 8. The one where they're in Cuba. And so I'm watching that one. And I love the Fast and the Furious movies, man, because if anybody's ever been a psychedelic, there's a level of a door of a ride that you can take. And it's kind of like that ice thin, sharp, hot metal thin. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain unless you've went through it. But it's kind of like this, like it's kind of warm, but it's like a knife going through warm butter. It's crazy. A hot knife through butter. It's crazy. But I'm watching this, and if you ever seen the movie, sorry, spoiler alerts or anything for y'all. If you ever seen it, there's a scene in where Cypher, she takes over all the controlled technology vehicles, basically every chip of the vehicles in there in New York, and she takes control and basically tries to catch the prime minister of Russia. And I'm saying Russia because at the time, kind of when this movie was out, it was a few years ago, so technically Russia shouldn't have been in our mind anyway, but Russia. and these cars are going, they're chasing the cars, as you see on the screen, and then all of a sudden they start falling off the roof. And at this moment, at this part of my psychedelic experience, everything, she was like, make it rain, and everything turned like just sharp metal, just like I had just put on a new visor to see what's going on. But it was even weirder because it was like I was looking at this from above. And I'm looking at this like from above, like what's about to happen to this world in this coming days, in these coming months, years, what's going to be happening. It was kind of like a premonition. And if you ever heard of the blind psychic, what's her name? I'll throw the picture up there. I don't want to butcher her name, but she predicted that there will be a World War III, and it will be three-headed dragon. And if you know anything about three-headed dragons and stuff in Europe, Russia, China, and there's going to be some other competitor. You probably think Korea or something like that. Who knows? But at this moment, it's like all these cars are going down. They're slipping it in. And it was like Dom, cuts it in. It was like that was USA, but it was so weird. It was literally like preparing for World War III. That was my message, but it was just so real. It's so seen. So he's taking the box out. It's cracking like he's just sawing through my head, and that's kind of what it felt like. It just seemed like that. And then he gets in the car, and I'm gonna throw this up there for you, so you can kind of give you a visual. And they're running down this, he gets it away from him. He's trying to get away from his team, and they throw all these spikes, or the damn fucking, I can't think of the name right now. It's pissing me off. Harpoons. That works for me. Harpoons with ropes on it. He's throwing harpoons at him, and as soon as they all connect, it was like a record player. I this is the only way I can prescribe it. You know how a record player has two sides, or you can do a CD too as well. And as it's reading the CD, it's playing a song, the laser's going, and now he's sitting here and shit's just shaking, and they're pulling them, and you can hear the revving engine, the rubber. You could actually smell and you could taste the rubber, feel the fire. It was so real, so realistic in my mind. I can just feel it because it's. And trust me, you can taste color, sense. There's so many things your mind can do without having to do it through an experience like that. It's amazing. It's hard to explain, but he's doing that, and it was like the DJ was messing with my record player. He was just, and it was just so fucking awesome. It was crazy, and it was riding, and they're going, and it's like the record player spinning. And as soon as the Bentley, he pulls the Bentley over, it was like it flipped the CD to side two, CD record player or something to side two, and it was like, I get it. It's like I totally fucking get it. And I said everything, all of this, we've all been pre-programmed for this kind of stuff for World War III. It's been in front of our faces for years, going to space, and it endless possibilities on everything that they've showed us. But it was just so weird, and I'm thinking, man, and if you've ever do research, conspiracy theories, Mandela Effects, you have an iceberg. You have the iceberg, and you have the iceberg that's got the top layer and it's got the bottom layer. And that's kind of what it was doing with the disc. It was flipping it to the other side of the disc, where it was like it all made fucking sense. Here's the right side, here's side B, and it was looking. But through all that, it was, the whole movie was amazing. But the message, and kind of the message of what I'm bringing here, through this whole, my whole trip report was, we have to keep our eyes open to everything that we see. Yes, television, music, and all that is, kind of in a way a programmatic method of telling us what's ahead of us. It was kind of like this, I've always, I'm always been a believer in Nostradamus, Merlagis, and their predictions, their quartries, and with seeing that and understanding that was kind of like my sight, the God's eyesight of seeing what's going to happen in this future. It reprompted me what my path should be, just like Matthew, or just like John, or any of your biblical ones, Enoch, all those biblical ones that you heard about, Noah's, you hear about their messengers. They're messengers of what I'm doing. waking people up to the reality of this system, this reality of this generated world that we live in. And, it's amazing to have that reassurance in myself. On my other channel before it got shut down, I used to talk about, the 144,000. You don't know about the 144,000, it's 144,000 souls that are God's disciples to help fight this war that's coming. And, it makes more sense now to me because I had kind of stirred off that past with that kind of stuff. And, I do know I'm an ascendant of Enoch, and it's crazy to just the perception of that. And then seeing kind of that quartre, that prediction of the three-headed dragon taking over the world, nuclear nukes, and kind of the devastation that it can draw to this really was just shocking, but at the same time really eerie. It is eerie to think about those kind of possibilities. And my trips are always amazing. I'm very thankful that what I go through, what I put myself through, when I bring back, I'm very thankful that I'm able to be this messenger and also be able to enjoy, my time on these kind of substances, these psychedelics. And that's one thing that everybody has to remember. We're all not going to get the same message. We're not going to all receive the same path. But at the same time, all our trips are going to be wonderful. Sometimes, I said, I can't lie. That parts where she said, let it rain, and them fucking cars started falling from the thing, it hurt. It hurt. It was like a new disc, a new upload, a new brain put into my system. It was like I was uploading my system, a new system into my processor, if you want to put it that way. But without pain, there cannot be love. There's no gain, and that's really true to itself. And it's amazing. And I wish I could put everybody in that thought and see what I saw, but I can explain it as much as I can. And a lot of people who's ever had done psychedelics and have had these transformations of walking through doors and up in levels, you exactly know what I mean. But it was amazing. I mean, I watch these movies. I love movies, and I love going fast. I love going slow. But it's something that was so unexpected because it was just so real, so heartening, but so real, so real that I understood it right away when it happened and when it was going on and what it was telling me. And I live by it. I swear by it. And I swear by those quatrains of these, predictions of Rockcliffe and Nostradamus. I swear by it. That is so right. There is going to be a World War III. It's going to happen. There's going to be three kingdoms that are going to control it. They are, unfortunately, it's going to happen. America will get bombed. They will get EMP'd. It will be fucking terrible. But that's not the imperative. That's for another time, another subject, just because that's part of the subliminal messages videos that I'm going to be doing. So, but there's my trip report, man. That's my trip report. It took me a while. It took me a couple of days just to get my head wrapped around it, because it was something that's hard to come out and tell people, hey, this did they right, but it's something like he's fucking crazy, but you know how it is, man. But I'm still here. But with all that said, man, I appreciate everybody, man, for the love, the support, the subs, man. Y'all are amazing. Like I said, this is your channel, always has been. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. With that, man, thank y'all too, man, for just doing what you, man. Oh, y'all are just awesome. So with that said, big cheers. Big blessings. And man, remember, man, keep your mind open, because those eyes will see everything in front of you.
Hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.